Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and today I want to talk to you about how to not overspend during the holidays, which is a problem that almost everyone has. Money is hard to earn and easy to lose. Guard yours with care. Between all of the work events, social engagements, and upcoming holidays, it's easy to spend more than you anticipated without a clear-cut plan of action. This leads to financial stress and strain on you once the season is over and you have to pay the money back. To ensure that you don't spend outside of your limits and still have a great holiday season, here are the 3 things you can do to avoid overspending. First, set an overall budget. Ask yourself, how much can you reasonably afford to spend in this holiday season? Instead of thinking, what is the absolute maximum amount you can spend, say, how much can you afford to spend without stretching yourself too thin? The problem with the holidays is that people spend way more than they can reasonably afford and then are stuck in debt for months, maybe even years, after the season has ended. The holidays aren't about showing your love or gratitude for someone by putting yourself in a tough financial situation. So take a look at your current finances. Figure out the approximate cost of your monthly expenses and bills, and then determine how much money you want to save. Remember, it's recommended that you save 10% or more of your income. Then you can attribute whatever is left over to gifts, plus whatever you saved specifically for gifts previously. Once you've set your overall budget, the next thing you want to do is to set budgets for each individual person or even occasion on your list. Obviously, there will be people who you spend more on, such as your kids, parents, or significant other. Once you've set a budget for those closest to you, then determine how much that you can spend on everyone else. Remember, the holidays aren't just about giving and receiving gifts, so don't feel obligated to get one for every single person you know. Just because you work with Joe or Cindy doesn't mean that you have to get them a gift for the holidays. If you do feel obligated to get gifts for your coworkers, suggest doing some sort of gift exchange to your employer or give them homemade presents. It's the thought that counts. Finally, to ensure you do not overspend this holiday season, keep track of your spending. None of this budgeting will do you any good if you don't actually keep track of what you're spending to make sure that you're staying within your budget. It's easy to become impulsive during this time of the year and feel tempted to spend more than you budgeted for if you think you have found the perfect gift. The key is to not get caught up in that trap and to only purchase items that fit into your budget no matter what. Keep all of your receipts and enter them into a spreadsheet or mobile app with all of your set budgets to stay on top of your spending. However you choose to do it, just make sure that you always know exactly how much you've spent per person and overall so that you don't go over your budget. Great leaders know how to think effectively, make good decisions, and take purposeful action by developing good habits. Download my free report on the power of habit and learn how today. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my question today is, what can you do to not overspend during the holidays? Think it through in advance and then follow your plan. Leave a comment below and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you about how to not overspend during the holidays, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching. Keep yourself positive, cheerful, and goal-oriented. Sales success is 80% attitude and only 20% aptitude. Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and Today I'm going to share with you 6 things sales professionals should never do when trying to make a sale. If you can avoid these mistakes, you'll be on your way to becoming a leader in your field and enjoying the wealth that comes with it. The first thing a sales professional should never do is never allow a prospect to lead the sales process. The best way to control a sales interaction and take the lead in the sales process is to ask questions. Asking quality questions can uncover specific personal or corporate issues and will allow you to evaluate whether or not your product can solve the specific problem your prospect is facing. This is also the best way to discover your prospect's real needs and values and establish yourself as an expert. The second thing sales professionals should never do is to neglect their pre-meeting research. If you're fortunate enough to get a meeting with an important prospective company or executive that you're hoping to sell to, you better have done your research, your homework. I unfortunately learned this lesson the hard way. I remember a specific situation in which I had finally connected with a prospect that I'd been trying to get a hold of for quite some time, and I set up a meeting. However, I didn't take the time to research the company before I sat down with them and spent the vast majority of the meeting learning fundamental basics about the company. Instead of presenting a solution that my product would solve, I asked them questions about what they did and how long they'd been doing it. Needless to say, I did not successfully close that sale, and I also never neglected to do my research ahead of time again. So invest time in learning about your prospect before you call them and set up a meeting, and you'll have a much better chance of getting to your sales objective. The third thing sales professionals should never do is talk too much during the sales interaction. Too many salespeople will get into a conversation and talk way too much about their expertise and their product, its features, their service, their company, and so on. This dialogue does absolutely nothing to convince a prospect that they should buy from you, and instead makes them think that you don't care about their needs. Engaging with a prospect by asking them about their experience and needs allows you the time to determine the most effective strategy or solution for them. The fourth thing sales professionals should never do is to provide the prospect with information that is irrelevant. When I was working in the corporate world, I was subjected to countless presentations where the salesperson shared information that was completely meaningless to anyone in the room. Remember, a prospect cares very little about your financial backing or who your other clients are. They only care about whether or not your product or service is going to help them personally. Make the most of your presentation by telling your prospect how they will benefit from your product or service until they're convinced that it will solve their problem or make their life easier. The fifth thing that sales professionals should never do is to be unprepared for your sales presentation. I remember when I was first getting into sales, I made a cold call expecting to get my prospect's voicemail. When he unexpectedly answered the phone, instead of asking qualified questions that would have allowed me to take control of the interaction, I spent the entire conversation answering his questions. This allowed him to take total control of the sale, or as I should say, the non-sale. Whether you're making a cold call or giving a sales presentation, it's absolutely critical that you are prepared, even over-prepared. This means having all relevant information at your fingertips, including pricing, testimonials, samples, and a list of questions you need to ask to direct the sales conversation. I suggest creating a checklist of all of the information you will need and reviewing it before your next call or presentation. No matter how many times you've made a sales call or given the same presentation, always review your material ahead of time. You only have one opportunity to make a great first impression, so don't waste it. Finally, the last thing that a sales professional should never do is to fail to ask for the sale. If you're selling a product or a service, you have the obligation to ask the customer for a commitment, particularly if you've spent time researching and discovering their needs and you know that your product or service can help them. As long as you ask for the sale in a non-threatening, confident, and cheerful manner, people will usually respond favorably. Even the most seasoned sales professionals make mistakes from time to time, but if you can avoid these 6 things sales professionals should never do, you'll decrease the likelihood of making sales blunders and increase your ability to make and close the sale. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. It is this: keep yourself positive, cheerful, and goal-oriented. Sales success is 80% attitude and only 20% aptitude. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my question today is, which closing strategy has worked best for you in the past and why? Leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to follow up with you. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you what not to do in sales, subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends or anyone else who might benefit from this information. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. If you'd like to learn how to close more sales by applying the closing techniques I've been using for years, click the link on the screen or in the description of this video. People always ask me for a piece of advice or a favorite quote or some kind of thought that they can use to be more successful with. And I have read thousands of books, including hundreds of quote books, as I put quotes on my website every day in 3 or 4 categories, so it's really hard to select a single quote. However, in thinking about this, I have come up with the answer. My favorite quote is actually from myself, and it says this: you can learn anything you need to learn to achieve any goal you can set for yourself. Now let me explain to you why I love that quote. Because if I was called to run out onto a stage in front of 5,000 people, and all I had was 1 minute to convey one piece of information, I would say this is it. Is no matter what your goals or your hopes or your dreams, no matter what your problems in the past or your current situation, you can learn everything you need to learn to achieve any goal that you set for yourself. You see, everybody who's in the top 10% started in the bottom 10%. Everybody who's doing well was once doing poorly. Everyone who's at the top of your field at one time did not even know that your field existed and could not even spell it properly. But then they got into the field, they got excited about it, and they began learning. They began reading and listening to audio programs and taking courses, and then practice. And over time, they became excellent. You see, all of us start off with very little in life. In fact, most people start off with no money at all. If you look at the richest people in America, Bill Gates, yes, came from a good family, but started his business from scratch. Warren Buffett started with a couple of $1,000s he saved up from his paper route. Michael Dell, Larry Ellison, the Waltons, they all started off with nothing and became fabulously wealthy. And how do they do it? Is they set it as a goal, and then they learn everything they needed to learn to achieve any goal they can set for themselves. Now here's an important point. All success skills are learnable. All business skills are learnable. All sales skills are learnable. All money-making skills are all learnable. Everybody who has them today at one time did not have them. Leadership skills are all learnable skills. When I started off in life, I had nothing. I was working cold calling, door to door, frustrated, living basically from sale to sale, living in a small room, in a rooming house, holes in my shoes. I even lost weight because I couldn't eat on a regular basis. And then one day I went to a top salesman and I said, "What are you doing differently from me?" And he said, "Well, show me your presentation and I'll critique it." And I said, "Well, I don't have a presentation. Could you show me yours?" And so he showed me his sales presentation. And I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. And so I went out and I began to sell the way he taught me, and my sales went up. After that, I began to read books on selling and listen to audio programs on selling and take seminars on selling and learn what the very highest paid salespeople were doing. And then I did it over and over until I learned it, and my sales went up 1, 2, 3, 5 times, 10 times. It was, to me, life's greatest miracle.
I have been in 22 different industries. Then I've been successful in every industry. I have generated millions and tens of millions of dollars in sales and profit in a variety of industries worldwide. And in every case, I started knowing nothing. And then I asked myself, what do I need to learn to be successful in this field? And I put my head down and I began to study it. Now, in the last couple of years, they have come across some research that shows that the reason people get from the bottom to the top is summarized in 2 words. The words are deliberate practice. And this is how you use it. You look around you at your life today and you ask, what one skill, if you are absolutely excellent at it, would help you the most to achieve your most important goal? If you don't know the answer to this question, you must find it out. Go to your boss, ask your friends and coworkers. Once when I was young, I asked my customers, my good friends, and they told me what I needed to become better at. Whatever the one skill, don't try to learn 100 skills. Whatever the one skill, focus single-mindedly on that one skill, day and night, until you master it. And once you've mastered that skill, which you will, then you ask again, now, what one skill will help me the most to achieve my most important goal? And you focus on that skill. You make a plan and you set priorities and you begin working on it, and in no time at all, you will excel. By doing this, by asking the question, what do I need to learn to move ahead in my career, by setting it as a goal and working at it every day, you will learn everything you need to learn to achieve any goal you can set for yourself.
Let's talk now about being the best person you can possibly be, the 7 keys to a positive personality. Your physical diet has a large impact on your health and energy levels. If you eat fresh, healthy, high-quality foods of all kinds and avoid the foods that are bad for you, you'll have more energy, you'll be more generally resistant to most diseases, you'll sleep better, and you'll feel healthier and happier. In the same way, your mental diet largely determines your character and your personality and almost everything that happens to you in life. When you feed your mind with positive ideas and information and positive books and conversations with interesting people and positive audio programs and thoughts, you develop a more positive and effective personality. You become more influential and persuasive. You enjoy greater confidence and self-esteem. Those people who work with computers use the expression GIGO, which means garbage in, garbage out. But the reverse is also true. Good in, good out. When you make a clear, unequivocal decision that you are going to take complete control over your mind, you eliminate the negative emotions and thoughts that may have held you back in the past, and become a completely positive person, you can actually bring about your own personal transformation. You can become someone completely different in a very positive way. Mental fitness is like physical fitness. You develop high levels of self-esteem and a positive mental attitude with training and practice. Here are the 7 keys to becoming a completely positive person. Number 1 is positive self-talk. Speak to yourself positively. Control your inner dialogue, the words running through your mind like a river. Use affirmations phrased in the positive present and personal tense, such as, I like myself, I can do it, I feel terrific, I'm responsible. Science proves that fully 95% of your emotions are determined by the way you talk to yourself as you go throughout your day. The sad fact is that if you do not deliberately and consciously talk to yourself in a positive and constructive way, you will, by default, start thinking about the things that make you unhappy or cause you worry and anxiety or even make you mad. As we said before, your mind is like a garden. If you do not deliberately plant flowers and tend them carefully, weeds will grow without any encouragement at all. If you don't think and talk positively to yourself, you'll start to think negatively automatically and without any effort. The second key is positive visualization. Perhaps the most powerful ability that you have is the ability to visualize and see your goals as already accomplished.
Create a clear, exciting picture of your goal and your ideal life and replay this picture in your mind over and over again until it's accepted by your superconscious mind as a command. All improvement in your life begins with an improvement in your mental pictures. As you see yourself on the inside, you will be a different person on the outside. The third key to mental fitness is positive people. Your choice of the people with whom you live and work and associate will have more of an impact on your emotions and your success than any other factor. Decide today to associate with winners, with positive people, with people who are happy and optimistic and who are going somewhere with their lives. Avoid negative people at all costs. Negative people are the primary source of most of life's unhappiness, including your own. So resolve that from day onward, you're not going to have stressful or negative people in your life. No more jerks from now on. The fourth key to mental fitness is positive mental food. Just as your body is healthy to the degree to which you eat healthy, nutritious foods, your mind is healthy to the degree to which you feed it with mental protein rather than mental candy. Read books and magazines and articles that are educational and inspirational or motivational. Feed your mind with information and ideas that are uplifting and that make you feel happy and more confident about yourself and your world. Listen to positive, constructive CDs and audio programs in your cars and on your MP3 player or iPod. Feed your mind continually with positive messages that help you think and act better and make you more capable and competent in your field. Watch positive and educational DVDs and educational television programs and online courses and other uplifting material that increases your knowledge and makes you feel good about yourself and your life. The fifth key to mental fitness is positive training and development. Almost everyone in our society starts off with limited resources, sometimes with no money at all. I know I did. Virtually all fortunes begin with the sale of personal services of some kind. All the people who are at the top today were once at the bottom, and sometimes they fell to the bottom several times. The miracle of lifelong learning and personal improvement is what takes you from rags to riches, from poverty to affluence, and from underachievement to success and financial independence. As my friend Jim Rohn once said, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. When you dedicate yourself to learning and growing and becoming better and more effective in your thoughts and actions, you take complete control of your life and dramatically increase the speed at which you move upward to greater heights and greater income and a better life in every area. The sixth key to mental fitness is positive health habits. Take excellent care of your physical health and wellness. Resolve today that you're going to live to be 80 or 90 or 100 years old and still be dancing in the evenings. To do that, you must eat healthy foods, natural and nutritious, and eat them sparingly and in proper balance. A nutritional diet will have an immediate positive effect on your thoughts and feelings. Also, resolve to get regular exercise, at least 200 minutes of motion per week, 30 minutes per day, walking, running, swimming, bicycling, or working out on equipment in the gym. When you exercise on a regular basis, you feel happier and healthier. You experience lower levels of stress and fatigue than a person who sits on the couch and watches television all evening. And especially get ample rest and relaxation. You need to recharge your batteries on a regular basis, especially when you're going through periods of stress or difficulty. Vince Lombardi once said, "Fatigue makes cowards of us all." Now, some of the factors that predispose us to negative emotions of all kinds are poor health habits, sleep deprivation, lack of exercise, and nonstop work. Seek balance in your life if you want to become all you can be. The seventh key is positive expectations. Practicing the law of attraction is one of the most powerful techniques you can use to become a positive person and to ensure positive outcomes and better results in your life. Your expectations become your own self-fulfilling prophecies. Whatever you expect with confidence seems to come into your life. Since you can control your expectations, you should always expect the best. Expect to be successful. Expect to be popular when you meet new people. Expect to achieve great goals and create a wonderful life for yourself. When you constantly expect good things to happen, you will seldom be disappointed. Hello, I'm Tracy, and today I want to give you some tips on how to recover from being burned out. You may have heard the story of Icarus in Greek mythology. He was more a flameout than a burnout. When he flew into the sun on wings of wax that he had made himself and feathers that he had attached to the wax, it was to escape a labyrinth, a prison of his own invention. Our lives may sometimes seem like Icarus' labyrinth as we fly on our own wings of stress towards burnout. As balance falls away, every day becomes another bad day. The exhaustion and joylessness of burnout are surpassed only by a lack of interest in a life once filled with challenge and satisfaction. I just came back from 41 days on the road and suffered complete burnout. By the time I got home, I slept for almost 3 days just to get my energy level back up to normal. So I know what we're talking about here. Everyone has bad days, but when those bad days stretch on, you may be heading for burnout, or you are already there. So how can you tell the difference between transitory stress, which is normal, natural, and actually healthy, and chronic burnout, which is no good? Burnout results from unrelenting stress, but burnout is not the same as stress. Stress is too many pressures that demand far too much of what you can physically and psychologically cope with and deal with on a regular basis. Nevertheless, people who are stressed can imagine that they can get through it and regain control. Not so with burnout. Burnout is the opposite of too much. When you are burned out, you are running on empty. You lack motivation and are beyond caring. If you are burned out, you see no hope of positive change and just give up. So, if you're suffering from burnout, how do you deal with it? You can deal with the helpless feelings of burnout and get your life back in balance. You must first realize that you are, in fact, burned out. Your dysfunctional thought processes and inadequate problem-solving mechanisms are threatening your relationships, your job, and your health. It's time to call a timeout and realize that you can regain your balance and get your life back in order. First, know that you can recover. You can recover from burnout, but it does not go away on its own. It will only get worse unless you get at its underlying causes. Identify why you have experienced burnout. Are the causes related to work, your personal life, or perhaps both? Do you feel resentment over how much or how little is expected of you? What is missing that would restore your former job or personal satisfaction and enthusiasm? Next, listen to your body. Your body in your current state of burnout probably needs attention. You burned out taking care of your life's responsibilities and the needs of others. It is now time to pause and think about the basics of good health and how a healthy body contributes to the sense of well-being that you need to get past burnout. You can start by getting more exercise. Remember those endorphins and how they flooded your body with a sense of exhilaration and accomplishment when you used to work out. Get back to exercising, even if you just start slow and take a walk in the fresh air. Stay hydrated. Drink lots of water. They say 8-ounce glasses per day. And lay off the starch and grease from the food dispensing machine or fast food drive-thru. You will sleep better, stop tossing and turning over your worries in the middle of the night. Take a leave of absence or a vacation. You can get a great start on your recovery from burnout by taking a real vacation. Time and distance from what is causing the burnout will allow you to decompress and regain your balance. When you return to work, nothing will have changed, but you need the space to come up with long-term solutions to what is causing your burnout. Examine your personal values and goals. Burnout can result when your job is out of sync with your values or is not aligned with your long-term goals. Do you even know what your values and goals are? Doing a self-analysis will give you that deeper understanding and get to the underlying causes of burnout. Finally, invest in yourself, in your journey from Icarus to Phoenix, the Firebird, not the city. You can rise from the ashes of your burnout. You only need to pause, understand the why and what burnt you out in the first place, and invest the time and effort to recover. Look at your values and goals and understand why their misalignment or blurriness have contributed to your burnout state. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. Accept that you are where you are and what you are because of yourself. If you don't like it, change it. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my question today is this. Have you ever been burned out? What did you do that helped you to recover? Leave a comment below and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you about how to recover from being burned out, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching.
Hi everyone, it's Felicia here checking in with you on day 2 of the Total Business Mastery Seminar. Did you know that there are 4 principles of marketing strategy? I didn't either. Watch this brand new footage where Brian explains exactly what they are and how you will become more successful once you start using them.
Of ourselves. Oh yes. Sometimes I ask my business clients, I say, who sets your prices? Sometimes I have a whole room full of business owners. Who sets your prices, by the way? And who determines your market share? And who determines your profit levels? And who determines how fast you grow? And who determines the future of your business? I do, we do. No, you don't. Your competitors do. Your competition determines everything. Your competition determines your level of sales, the prices you charge, and how much money you make. I've done a lot of work on military strategy, and one of the great principles I learned in military strategy is that no strategy can be made independent of the enemy. In other words, you can't sit there and plan military strategy ignoring who your enemy is and where they are and how big they are and what their plans and intentions are. So no strategy in business can be made without thinking about your competition and who are they and what do they do and why do people buy from them and how can I get them to buy from me and how will they react if I get their customers. There's volumes of books in the libraries on this, and I've got them all. There's one book called Competitive Analysis. It's this big, by Michael Porter. It's about 800 pages, and it's all on things that you have to think about to position against competition. Big stuff. You can get PhDs in marketing focused on competitive analysis. So the 4 principles of marketing strategy are these. Number 1 is your decisions in these 4 areas. Your decisions in these 4 areas determine the success or failure of your business. The first is specialization. Specialization is determining where you are going to specialize, which we'll talk about in your product or service. And I'll talk about this, I'll define it a little bit better. The second is differentiation. Differentiation is really the key to business. And they say that all business strategy is differentiation strategy. Competitive advantage is how it is that you are different and better than your competitors. Because human beings in the marketplace, customers, always want to know, why should I buy from you rather than from someone else? And you'd better give me a better reason than your competitor does, or I'll buy from your competitor. And it's not personal. It's just I want to get the very best deal. As a customer, I want to get the highest quality for the lowest price. You tell me why I should buy from you, why you are giving me the highest quality, the lowest price, and if your answer is better than that of your competitors, I'll buy from you. And if it's not, I won't. And it's not personal. No emotion involved. We get emotionally involved because it's our business. So differentiation is the key, is how and why and where are you different. Segmentation means looking at your market and saying, who are the specific customers in the market who value my area of differentiation and who will pay more for my area of specialization than anybody else. So in other words, in every marketplace, and they say that all marketing today is segmentation, is segmenting and identifying those customers who are most likely to buy from you the fastest. And finally, there's concentration. Once you have determined your very best market segment for what you do really well, what you do is you focus all your energies on them. So let's look at these. Specialization says this is the product, service, customer, market, or area of technology where you focus all your efforts. We also say in specialization, it can be a product or service, it can be a particular customer that you want to serve, or it can be a particular market area that you want to work in. I'll give you an example. McDonald's. McDonald's customer is people who want to eat quickly, and they want cleanliness, efficiency, value, price, and pleasant surroundings. And so what they will do is they will offer every product that they possibly can for people who want to eat quickly, whether it's a salad or whether it's a shake or whether it's a type of coffee or whether it's, in other words, they're constantly looking for other products that they can offer to that customer who's in that market segment, which wants to eat quickly and efficiently. And they test continually. Very clear about that. So the next one is, look at that. Wow. Okay. And so differentiation is your competitive advantage, which you've heard me talk about, but you'll never hear me talk about too much. Because if you can identify and or create a competitive advantage and convey it to your customers, the dam will break. You can make more sales and more money in a year with a clear competitive advantage to your customers than you might make in a lifetime if your competitive advantage is unclear. So number two, it's your area of excellence or superiority. It's something that you do better than anybody else. And I sometimes joke, why is your product or service better? And they say, quality and service, quality and service, quality and service. We give quality and service. And people don't understand that that is only an answer if your competitors offer zero quality and zero service. In other words, other than that, it's not an answer. If a person says, well, you should buy from us because of our quality and service, they're saying, I do not have the slightest idea why anybody should buy from me. I'm a complete idiot, and I'm a danger to my company and probably to my whole society. So it's interesting when Steve Jobs looked at the BlackBerry, looked at all the cell phones that were out there, and he sent out with his engineers, and he said, I want a phone that you can activate with one button. They said it's impossible. All these other phones have all these other buttons you turn off and on. He said, I want a phone that you can activate with one button. And he kept sending them back until they finally came with the one button. You activate it, put in your code, and bam, you have all your apps and you're ready to go. The game is on. One button. It's never been done before in history. Can't be done, can't be done, can't be done, can't be done. I want it done. And there's the phone. He said, cell phones today should not be so darn complicated to start up, use, get around, and so on. I had a BlackBerry, and to get an app on a BlackBerry, which has far fewer than Apple, it's almost like you need an act of Congress to get a damn app. I mean, you know what I'm talking about? They're so hard. And you go to BlackBerry, and I go to Apple, which my family and my staff got me into. Within half an hour, I had 30 apps loaded. I mean, it's unbelievable. You're loading them one at a time. Whoa! And now you can float the whole world. And the stuff that's on there for apps, just the free apps blow your mind, much less the paid apps. And now you got 486,000 apps. Think about that. But they make it easy. So Apple says you come to us and it's easy. You can access everybody, anything, anywhere. And then they come up with the Apple II and they put that video model on it, whereas you can actually hold it up and you can talk by video to anybody anywhere in the world who has an Apple with the same facility. It's the most amazing damn thing. I mean, you look at it, it's almost like a kid. How can this be? So what is yours? And if you don't have it, you can't compete. But if you do have it, you sell 50 million sets and become the highest valued company in the world in 5 years if you can be really clear about an area of excellence that people want and will pay for. Your unique selling proposition. What is it that, and this is called your USP. Your USP is the one thing that you offer that no other competitor offers in the whole world. It's unique. What do we know about the word unique? Is that it cannot be modified. It's the only adjective that cannot be modified. You can have more, and you can have greater, and you can have greatest, but you cannot have more unique or uniquer or less unique or uniquest. You have only one word, unique. Each person here is unique. You are not uniquer. You are not the uniquest. You are unique because there's only one of you in the entire world. So therefore, what is your unique selling proposition? I've worked with people, have spent hours to identify this, and when they finally identified it, their business went up 500% in the next 12 months. They could not believe it. They went from struggling to living in a big home, driving a Cadillac or a Mercedes, because they finally found it, And then all of your advertising, all of your promotion, all of your work is focused on conveying that USP to your customers, getting it to them so that they are clear what it is. And if it's what customers want and value and will pay for, they will line up around the street. Remember when they brought out the iPad? Because of the iPhone, nobody really knew it was in the iPad, except it was going to be like a whole broad screen. It was going to have everything that a computer had. They lined up around the streets by the hundreds to lay $500 down. $500. I don't know about you, but I think $500 is a lot of money, wouldn't you say? $500? These are poor people with flip-flops and sandals and tractor caps willing to put their $500 down to get this, because they didn't know what it was, but it's going to be like an iPod, an iPhone with a bigger screen, plus all kinds of other capabilities. Wow. And you know what they did? They sold 25 million of them in less than a year. 25 million, and they totally changed the book retailing industry. The book retailing industry, like a ship that turned over, went from basically hardcover books in bookstores. It flipped. Now 51 to 55% of all books are being purchased as ebooks, and the reason is because of the iPad. Because iPad owners are readers, and they buy an average of 200 to 300 books in the first year. And the whole market flipped, and Borders, one of the biggest and oldest bookstores in America, went bankrupt all in less than a year when the iPad was introduced. Can you imagine? I mean, we're living in pretty turbulent times. Wouldn't you imagine a company that spent decades building was bankrupt nationwide within a year with the advent of one new technology? So what is your unique selling proposition? Theirs is convenience. You can get everything fast, everything convenient, more convenient than anyone else. Everybody tries to compete with the iPhone or the iPad, can't do it. The Nook can't do it. The Hewlett-Packard got into it with their tablet and just quit. They just can't do it. Now, who is it? Not Samsung, but the Korean company is trying to compete and so on. But they have a unique selling proposition. So my question is, what is yours? And I'm going to ask you to answer that. What is yours? What is it that you offer that nobody else offers? Now, here's an insight. If you're offering something that everybody else sells, let's say you're a real estate agent. What's your unique selling proposition as a real estate agent if every other real estate agent with 100 miles has same unlimited access to the MLS? What is your USP? What can it be? What could it be? What should it be? Come on. Jeez. Well, the answer is yourself. Because the product is all the same. You don't even control the product. You don't even control the marketing. Everybody else can have it. So what makes top realtors, I work with top realtors. The average realtor makes about $25,000 a year. I work with an entire room full of realtors. The average income is $833,000 a year on straight commission selling. And they all started off with nothing, and they're now at the top of their field. And some of them make several million selling homes. What's the difference? Personality. Personality, preparation, punctuality, friendliness, warmth, follow-up, notes, phone calls, contact. In other words, they make a supreme effort to build a really high-quality relationship with a home buyer or home seller so that that person will never think of going anywhere else. I know because I've worked with some of these people in buying and selling my homes, and I would never buy or sell, buy or through anybody else but these people because they are so good at what they do. And every one of them started off on the street knocking on doors and dialing for dollars and made a decision that their unique selling proposition was going to be themselves. And you, as an independent business owner, can make that decision as well. Make the decision that I'm going to take such good care of my customers would never go anywhere else. I don't have to give them blandishments or discounts. I'm going to take such good care of them that they will eagerly come back to me. So number 4 is, where are you or could you be the best? Where are you or could you be the best? And this is the great question, because everybody here has the ability to be the best at something. Everybody here has the ability to be the best at something that people will eagerly pay for and tell their friends about. And your job is to figure out what it is. Your job is to figure out what it is and then do continuous and never-ending improvement until finally people say, you know, you're the best. You are really good at what you do. You are really good. Look at Lady Gaga. I saw her at the Grammy Awards as well. I don't know anything about Lady Gaga. I've never listened to a Lady Gaga song. She came absolutely from out of nowhere. She's 25 years old. She's one of the top 10 tweeted people in the history of the world. And she made last year $60 million. And where was she? Singing in nightclubs or bars 5 years ago? And she's an incredible entertainer. And there ain't nobody like Lady Gaga. You know what I'm talking about? It's unbelievable. Why? She knew what she had. And she goes to the extreme with her dress and her appearance and everything else. And she wraps it around a good voice and just literally has taken over the world of pop music. So segmentation is who are those customers who most appreciate your area of superiority? Who are your very best customers? You see, your best customers are really easy to sell to. They'll buy and buy again. They're happy. They like you. They come back. They bring their friends. They give you recommendations and testimonials. Whereas your worst customers, your customers from hell, you have to literally break your back to sell them anything. They complain all the time. They don't pay. When they do pay, their checks bounce. And they stand back and bounce it to you like a basketball. So who are they? What are their demographics? What are their psychographics? The demographics are things that you can observe from the outside. Age, income, education, family formation. Psychographics are what motivates them. And this is where the future is in your business. And every person has psychographics, and they have a key psychographic. I'll tell you this in a second. How would you describe your perfect customer? I do this, by the way. I said, imagine that you were at a social or business gathering, and you're networking, and someone came up to you and said, look, I know a lot of people in this community. How would you describe your perfect customer? Don't tell me what your product or service is. I don't want to hear. Just tell me, who would your perfect customer be in terms of their wants, needs, age, education, income, position? And so you would have to describe your perfect customer without mentioning your product or service at all. The person would not even know what you sold. You describe the customer. This is what this person is. This is where they are. I'll give you an example. IBM at one time had 80% of the world computing market. 80%. Then they made some mistakes. And now they have much less. But they had 80%. They had so much that the federal government tried to break them up for 13 years. They brought antitrust suits against IBM just like they tried to break up Microsoft. Finally, Reagan came into power. They started in 1970. In 1983, was brought to Reagan's attention. They said the federal government has been pursuing IBM in $50 million, $100 million lawsuits for 13 years. And what did they come up with? People buy IBM because they really like IBM, and IBM treats them really well. They said, well, if they can't come up with something on IBM, they have to drop the lawsuit. And they said, we can't come up with anything. The antitrust is supposed to be in favor of protecting customers. IBM's customers love them worldwide. Then drop the suit. They dropped the suit after 13 years. They did the same thing with Microsoft. They harassed them and harassed them and harassed them because they weren't giving enough political contributions. That was the major reason. They weren't giving enough political contributions. Finally, after years, they had to say, why do people buy Microsoft? Because they like the product. The product is good, and it's cheap, and it's flexible, and everything. So how would you describe your perfect customer? The point I was making with IBM is IBM realized that when they first started selling the 360 mainframe in 1964, the customer was really the president of the company making a major strategic decision: are we going to put everything in our company on computers? Because everything was paper at that time, you know. And so they would have to make their presentations to the senior executives of the company and work out all the numbers and so on. But as computers became more and more popular and they started to have PCs and desktops and so on, the whole decision-making shifted to the purchasing manager of the large companies. And so they had to focus and change all of their marketing so it focused it on purchasing managers. And they learned more about how purchasing managers think and walk and talk and eat and breathe and communicate, and where they're educated and the size of their family and their income and their psychographics and demographics. And they focused all of their effort on purchasing managers and became the biggest selling company in the world. 80% of the world market, because they knew their customer. I hope I'm making a point here. Many people, you say, describe your customer to me without mentioning your product or service. They go, huh? Well, somebody wants it? Duh. All right. So demographics. Here are the key demographics. And by the way, if you don't know these, find out. What we do, you know how we find out? Do surveys. Ask your customers. Offer them a prize if they'll fill in the blanks. Age, gender, that's important. Income, how much do they earn? Education, how well educated are they? Occupation, what sort of work do they do? Location, where do they live, and so on. And family status. Those are the main demographic features. And you've got to be very clear, because if you change the demographics of your customer, you change your total marketing approach, your selling approach, your packaging, your product, your service, your people, and everything else. Now, your psychographics are even more important, and this is really neat, is what are their goals and ambitions? Because remember, people are motivated to buy because you offer to help them achieve a goal that they have. Or what are their wants and needs and motivations? They're motivated to buy because they have a need for what you're selling. And What are their hopes and dreams and aspirations? Where do they want to be in the future? And can your product or service help them get there? And 4, what are their fears or doubts or worries? Here's one of the great breakthrough discoveries for me in the last few years, is there's always one reason why people will buy from you. There's one major reason, and you have to find out what it is and convince the prospect that you can give them that benefit. There's always one major fear that will hold them back. There's always one major doubt that holds them back from buying, and you must find out what that is and alleviate it. You've got to do both in every sale. What's the major reason? How does Brendan alleviate the fear of making a mistake of going to his program? How does he do that? Yes. Not only that, not only is the entire fee is refundable, he'll pay your airfare and your hotel. And he does, by the way. He'll pay your airfare and hotel for coming just to not waste your time because he's so confident in the value of his program. So in other words, he's making it a risk-free thing for you to do. What is the biggest risk that you have with Brendan's terms and conditions? That you'll really like it and won't want your money back. And you'll be out the money that you had paid because you really enjoyed it because you got your money's worth. Geez, that's a real tough downside. And number 5 is what is the problem to be solved? We call this PTBS, 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 problem to be solved, problem to be solved, problem to be solved. People buy your product or service because they've got a problem to be solved, like a parrot. Problem to be solved, problem to be solved, problem to be solved. And a goal unachieved is a problem unsolved. A need unsatisfied is a problem unsolved. A pain not taken away is a problem unsolved. This is the focus of your business. What is the problem that you solve for your customers when they use your product or service? And you must know that with crystalline clarity. You know, like that in the movie with Tom, was it Not a Perfect Gentleman? You know the movie I'm talking about with Tom Cruise and not Risky Business with Jack. What does he say when he says, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" And he looks into the camera. He says, "Crystal." Right? That is what I'm saying crystal clear. He says, "It's crystal." Well, you must be crystal when you're clear, when you're thinking about what it is you do for your customer. And all your advertising, all your promotion, all your business is based around conveying that crystal to your customers so they understand crystal. You know how a cafe advertises on the side of the freeway or the highway? You're going down the road, you see a great big, it doesn't say mom and pop's best-selling meatloaf and family cooked food and come and visit us sometime. It says a big sign that says hungry, ? And the next one says turn at the next exit for the best food on the highway. In other words, they first of all get your attention because if you're hungry, what happens? Hungry. You'll see that. It's reciprocal. Your reticular activating system will see that. You'll see that word hungry. Now it's got your attention. The next sign is turn here for food. You want food? Turn now. Real simple. So concentration is the 4th part. Concentration is where you focus your time, money, and resources. Remember the old saying, 50% of my advertising is wasted, but I don't know which 50% it is. Well, maybe 80%, 90% of advertising and promotional dollars are wasted. And if you can just increase the efficiency of your advertising by focusing your message with greater clarity on your best customers, you can get 5 and 10 times the response per dollar of advertising that you were getting before. So what are the best possible ways to contact your ideal customer? And this is moving very quickly today. It's shifting all the time. Second of all, what are the best possible media for you to use? Most of you use the internet exhaustively, but the internet is only one method of communication, and it's still small relative to all the other forms of advertising and promotion. I have a friend who does $35 million a year with radio ads, 60 to 120-minute radio ads to get people to phone a number where then they are interviewed and then sold into another telephone call where they are introduced to a product which takes them to another telephone call. That's $35 million a year with radio ads. So there's all kinds of ways. Imagine if you could run an ad, 60 seconds, and how do you test an ad? We're working with one of the top companies in the country. They develop an ad, they narrate the ad, they're happy with the ad, and then they run the ad in a tiny market, a small town, They pay $5,000, get 50 spots, and see what kind of response rate they get. They will run the ads 5 days a week. They'll run one ad on Monday, one ad on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and 5 different ads, and they'll see which one causes the phones to ring. And then they'll take that and they'll run it in New York. And what works in Podunk is going to work in New York at 100 times the scale. In other words, they debug the system, get a nice ad. And what if you could have an ad that would cause qualified people to phone you all day long? Phone you and call you and say, please, 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 sell me your product or service. I've got my credit card handy. Is that possible? Say yes. It's being done all the time. Do you ever listen to radio? Those people are not advertising for fun. They're advertising because they're making a lot of money doing it.
Hi everyone. Thanks for tuning into your virtual Backstage Pass. You just watched Brian explain the 4 keys of marketing strategy. Which ones will you be implementing? We want you to share what you've learned with us, so make sure you leave us a comment below. This concludes our Backstage Pass for Day 2 at the Total Business Mastery event, but if you want to see what happened over the past 2 days and get live streaming access to Day 3, click the Get Virtual Access Now button below. We've got great new segments to share with you on the 3rd and final day of your Total Business Mastery Backstage Pass, so please make sure you stick around, and we'll see you then.
Another close that you can use right at the beginning is called the demonstration close. And boy, is this ever effective. You can use this for almost anything. The demonstration close is what you do to qualify the prospect in the opening statement and to get a clear statement from the prospect that they're in a position to buy and to pay for this product. We used to use this in selling mutual funds. We'd say, Mr. Prospect, if I could show you the very best investment you've ever seen in your life, are you in a position to put $5,000 into it right now? Prospect says, well, I don't know. No, I haven't got 5,000. How about 4? Well, I don't know. How about 3? Well, yeah, 3. Yeah, if I could show you the best investment you've ever seen, would you put $3,000 into it? Are you in a position to put $3,000? He says, well, yeah, if you could show me the... See, now what you've done is you've changed the focus of the discussion. The discussion is not whether or not the person listens to your presentation. The discussion is, can you demonstrate that you actually have an investment or a product that's as good as that? Another thing you can say is, I can show you the best sales training system that you've ever seen, the best, cheapest, finest sales training system you've ever seen. Are you in a position to commit your company to it right now? The person says, well, you know, if it's that good, are you in a position to make a decision right now? Well, so yeah, I can. Now, then you go through your presentation. At the end of the presentation, the person can't say, well, I've got to check with the boss, I've got to talk to Harry, I've got to crawl across the street. They've already said, yes, I have the money, yes, I'm qualified, yes, I'm in a position to make a decision. So a good, strong opening question that grabs attention and says, geez, like if a person is in the stock market or is investing in anything, when you say, if I could show you the best investment you've ever seen, what's the first thing that they ask? What is it? Tell me more about it. I'd like to learn about it. I could show you the best investments you've ever seen. Are you in a position to make an investment today? If I could show you the product that you're looking for, are you in a position to make a decision today? In real estate, I've seen this over and over again. One of the first questions that you should ask people when you take them out, instead of going to these people who are kicking tires and looking at homes 2 years before they ever plan to buy one, is say, if we could find the exact house you're looking for, when would you want to take possession? Just tell them that as you get into the car. You know, like you'd ask them, what do you think of the weather? Very often people will tell you, oh, well, we're just looking, you know, we're just sort of in the market, we're just looking at, we're visiting 27 other real estate agents, we're planning to spend 2 years at it so we know every single house in North Chicago or whatever it happens to be. So ask them that question. If we could find exactly the house you're looking for, when would you be prepared to take possession? And they can tell you. They say, well, I don't know. Or they'll tell you that they're not in the market at all.
Success comes when you do what you love to do and commit to being the best in your field. Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and today I want to share my 4 steps to enjoying career success. The day came more quickly than you could have imagined. College graduation day. 4 years of hard work and dedication to education with a college degree to show for it. What an accomplishment. However, as a new graduate, the job search pressure is on. Suddenly, your diploma feels like nothing but a piece of paper when competing in the job market. It may feel like you're up against peers with more skills, more experience, or more connections. You have to remember that the commitment of your time and money increases your chances of success. Earning your college degree opens up so many opportunities in life. Some of the benefits include higher paying jobs, higher skilled jobs, and overall stability. How does someone new to their field enjoy career success? I've come up with 4 steps to guide you in achieving stability and satisfaction in your new job. First, evaluate yourself. This sounds odd, but really size yourself up. Ask yourself some of the following questions. What are my weaknesses as an employee? What are my strengths? What changes can I make to my professional skills to boost my desirability as a new hire? Take the time to assess your achievements and your talents. It's important to evaluate your own opinion of your performance because your perception of yourself is more important than others' perception of you. Be honest with yourself and handle your shortcomings. Figure out where you can improve and make the change. Sizing yourself up can distinguish you from your competition because you have a concept of your value as an employee. Now that you've evaluated yourself, it's time to research your competition. It's easy to assess the weaknesses of your opponent, things you might do better than them. It's much more beneficial, however, to put your pride aside and make note of what their strengths are. How are your competitors' assets superior to their companies? What do they do well? Where do you fall short in comparison? Gain insight on their capabilities and strategies to get there. Implement the same strategies or adapt them to fit your own circumstances as an employee. You can match up to your competition, but still remain true to your character. Self-knowledge and evaluating your opponents gives you a competitive edge above your peers. Next, create a goal-setting plan. The most important part of this plan is clarity. Be clear about what you want out of your career and for your future. The more specific, the better. What will your role at the company look like in 1, 5, or 10 years? Also, it's important to be realistic with your goals. You don't expect to be promoted in 6 months, so don't write that down. Wishful thinking is different than goal setting. Commit to what you are writing down. The only way you will succeed is by believing in your goals and yourself. Share some of your goals with others for increased accountability. It is beneficial to find a mentor within your company, a person with a role you aspire to. Ask questions. How did they get there? What can I do to succeed in my role? Lastly, give yourself time to accomplish your goals. You have to create the right conditions for success, and realistic time frames is the first step. The final step to enjoying career success is taking action. Don't wait. Implement your career plans right now. You've evaluated yourself, researched your competition, and created a career goal plan. Now, it's time to move forward. Remember to celebrate your small successes each time you accomplish something. Celebration, even of the small things, can be motivation to continue advancing in your career. Ultimately, you define what it means to succeed. Your satisfaction with your career is directly correlated if you have met your own definition of success. Whether you are a college graduate just starting out or have been in the workplace for years, career success starts with your decision to pursue something you enjoy. Follow my 4 steps and see for yourself. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you how to enjoy career success, share it with your friends or anyone else who might benefit from this information. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. Success comes when you do what you love to do and commit to being the best in your field. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my question today is this: what is your definition of success? How will you take action today to achieve greater success? Leave a comment below and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you how to enjoy career success, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share this video with your friends. Click the button on the screen for a free gift. And thanks again for watching.